Welcome back, dear students, for today's session. In this session, let us start discussing about the excretory system of frog. So here, when we are talking about the excretory system of frog, firstly, let me tell you that it is very well developed, alright, and it helps in the elimination of nitrogenous waste. It's very well developed. It helps in elimination of nitrogenous waste or the toxic waste which are present in the body. Alright. So when I am saying very well developed, so how, in what manner, what are the important organs which help in the excretion of the nitrogenous waste, we need to understand, dear students. Okay, with respect to that, let me tell you that the excretory system here, alright, consists of three important structures. Firstly, they have pair of kidneys, alright, a pair of kidneys which are the chief excretory organs, alright. Secondly, ureters, alright, then also cloaca. Apart from this, they also have cloaca. Apart from this, they also possess urinary bladder. Okay, so anyway, so these are the important structures associated with the excretory system of frog, dear students. Okay, firstly, let me tell you, there is a presence of pair of frogs, then we have ureters followed by the urinary bladder, and then we have the cloaca. Okay, the kidneys here, dear student, these are very compact, alright, and generally they are dark red colored and bean shaped structures which are present, alright. See, they are generally compact, alright, firstly, and they are dark red colored and the shape is bean shaped, dear students. Okay, and let me tell you that where they are in fact situated, alright, they are situated in the posterior part of the body cavity, lowermost part of the body cavity we can find the kidneys, alright. So in the posterior part of body cavity, and as I said you, they are pairs. Okay, so two kidneys we have on either side of the vertebral column. Either side of vertebral column we can find these two kidneys. Alright, let me tell you, kidneys are compact structures. They are dark red in color and the shape is bean shaped, and in the posterior part of the body they are situated, alright, in the body cavity. Okay, either side of the vertebral column. Now, dear students, let me tell you that each kidney is composed of the structural and functional units, alright. Structural and functional units, we have those structural and functional units are called as the uriniferous tubules, or rather in simple sense we can refer that to as nephrons, alright. So in simple we can say that to as they are the basic unit of kidneys. Now we can find in the frog, alright. Remember, they are nothing but uriniferous tubules, you can say, or you can also use the term nephrons, alright, as well. Then, dear students, the two ureters which are present, alright, so these ureters, they emerge from kidneys, alright, they emerge from kidneys in the male frog, alright. These ureters emerge from the, alright, kidneys in the male frogs. Alright, and furthermore, the ureters act as urinogenital tract, duct. Alright, they act as urinogenital duct. Alright, so that they directly open into the cloaca. They open into the cloaca. So which is a common passage for, we can say now cloaca is a common passage for both the waste, alright, as well as we can say the for the reproduction also it plays an important role. Alright, it's a common opening. Urino, it is indicating the excretory part of the excretory system, genital part of the reproductive system. Alright, there is a duct which is common for both excretory and reproductive structure called the urinogenital duct, right, which opens into the cloaca. Dear students, when we consider female, in case of females, we could find that the ureters, alright, and the oviduct, ureters and the oviduct, they open separately into the cloaca, right? They are not directly they are not opening into the cloaca, they are opening it. Note this point, very important, they are opening separately in case of females. Alright, and a thin-walled urinary bladder is also present. It is very thin-walled. Okay, so where it is present? In the ventral part, okay, ventral side of the rectum, just ventral to the rectum. Rectum is a part of the large intestine, correct? So what I can say here is that the rectum stores all the waste before its elimination. Alright, so to the ventral of rectum we have the urinary bladder, alright, which also opens into cloaca, dear students. Okay, so remember this as well. Okay, now let me tell you that in few organisms, like for example, let us say fishes, alright, even in the case of snakes, crocodiles, as well as in case of birds, the urinary bladder is completely absent. We cannot find the urinary bladder in these organisms. It is completely absent, dear students. Alright, then further, dear students, now let me tell you that frog excretes urea. Frog excretes urea. Alright, so this is the chief excretory component which can be seen with respect to the frog. It is the chief excretory product. So maximum of the waste is in the form of urea. Alright, so let me tell you, when urea it is excreting, alright, it is referred to as ureotelic. The organisms which excrete urea as the chief excretory product are referred to as ureotelic organisms. The frogs are ureotelic organisms, dear students. And let me tell you, dear students, furthermore, that the excretory wastes are carried from the blood. Alright, they are carried from the blood, and from the blood they reach the kidney. Alright, the blood reaches the kidney and it is filtered. It is all the toxins which are present in the blood, especially the urea, alright, and the other nitrogenous waste are separated from the blood. Are you getting my point? And then it is excreted outside. Alright, this is the important aspect with respect to how the elimination is done. The blood having all the toxins will pass to the kidneys. The kidneys will purify the blood, remove all the toxins, all the excretory substances present in the kidney, and then it is excreted outside the body, right? This you need to remember. Alright, dear students. Okay, now this is the one, and further let me tell you, they also have some special structures, the frogs kidneys. Okay, each kidney, every kidney or each kidney of frog possesses longitudinal Bidder's canal. Alright, It has structures called Bidder's canal. See, this Bidder's canal is found connected to the urinogenital tract. This is also one of the structural aspects. Okay, you need to remember. It is attached to the urinogenital tract. So these are the few important aspects you need to remember with respect to the excretory system of frog, dear students. Dear students, next let us move on discussing about the neuroendocrine system of frog. Neuroendocrine system of frog. So firstly let me tell you, see look at the word, alright. See, neuro, first word we have is neuro, that means it is indicating the neural system or the nervous system of the frog, alright. And secondly we have endocrine system, alright. So it is alright, it is representing the endocrine system or the endocrine, totally all the endocrine glands together, which help in secretion of many different types of hormone forming the endocrine system, alright. So these two together we call neuroendocrine system of frog. It has both the nervous system or the neural system and the endocrine system, which work well in hand or in coordination with each other, alright, bringing about many important functions of control and coordination, alright. They control and coordinate all the activities of the frog, alright. And let me tell you, they are very highly developed, alright. They are very highly developed, that is the neuroendocrine mechanisms are very fine here. So in fact we can say because of that the control and coordination activities in the body are really very well developed. Next, dear students, see, with respect to endocrine system especially, let me tell you the chemical coordination, alright, exists between, alright, different or various organs of the body, alright. Chemical coordination is seen among the various organs of the body, alright. Then let me tell you that this chemical coordination between various organs of the body is achieved by the, alright, non-nutrient chemical substances, cellular messengers we call hormones. These are cellular messengers, alright. They send the message from one cell to the other cell, from one tissue to the other tissue, and also as well as the organs, alright. Because of the same they are called as cellular messengers, dear students. Okay, let me remind you that. Okay, so then further, dear students, these hormones are secreted by the endocrine glands. Remember, this is very important again. See here, as I said you, the chemical coordination of the various organs of the body, all these organisms, chemical coordination is brought about by the chemicals, alright. The chemical messengers we call them as hormones, which are secreted by the endocrine gland, dear students. Now here, with respect to what are the important endocrine glands which bring about this chemical coordination in frog, let us understand few. See, the frogs possess the pituitary gland, which secretes so many important hormones for chemical coordinations. It also has thyroid. Pituitary gland is a part of the brain. Thyroid gland, alright, is also situated, alright, in its body, alright, as well as parathyroid, alright. So this is present in the anterior part of the body, and the thymus, alright, which is important as well for so many development growth activities, alright. Pituitary, thyroid, parathyroid, thymus glands also seen, and pineal body, what we say, it is also present. To go with that, even pancreatic islets or pancreas are as well present. Adrenal glands are present, dear students. Okay, remember these, alright. As well as finally we can also find the gonads. Okay, so let me tell you now what are the endocrine glands which can be present with respect to the frog, alright. So they leave their secretion directly into the bloodstream. They don't have any ducts, children, alright. So that is pituitary gland, thyroid gland, parathyroid gland, thymus, pineal body, then pancreas, adrenal glands, and gonads. So these are the important endocrine glands of the frog. Next, dear students, let us move on to the next part of neuroendocrine system, that is nervous system. All right. See, the nervous system here is, again I can tell that it is very well developed. All right. And the nervous system here basically comprises of the central nervous system, what we call in short as CNS. All right. See, the CNS again is made up of the brain and spinal cord. All right, which are the most important part of the central nervous system of frog. All right. Along with that, it consists of peripheral nervous system and autonomic nervous system. So firstly, let me tell you what peripheral nervous system consists of. The peripheral nervous system of frog has, all right, the cranial nerves and the spinal nerves. Cranial nerves, as well as we can find the spinal nerves. All right, cranial nerves arise from the brain, whereas the spinal nerves arise from the spinal cord. So all right, so this is generally called generally as peripheral nervous system. Then secondly, autonomic nervous system is present. All right, autonomic nervous system, okay, is the second type, okay, which we can find. All these are parts of central nervous system, dear students. Okay, so this again consists of sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic as well as parasympathetic nervous system, dear students. Nervous system. Okay, let me now just remind you that the nervous system of frog consists of the central nervous system, which has brain, spinal cord, right? Apart from brain and spinal cord, it has the peripheral nervous system, which has cranial nerves and the spinal nerves, right? So other than this, the second is autonomic nervous system, which has sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. All right. Then, dear students, let me tell you, there are about 10 pairs of cranial nerves. All right. The cranial nerves, as I already said you, these cranial nerves arise from the brain, very important for the impulses. All right. And then we have the spinal nerves, which are also 10 pairs. All right. So both the cranial nerves as well as the spinal nerves, all right, are 10 in pairs. Okay, spinal nerves arise from the spinal cord, dear students. And further, here in case of frog, the brain is enclosed by a bony structure. It is covered by or enclosed by a bony structure, all right, called as, we call this bony structure as the brain box. All right, or we can also represent it as the cranium. All right, so this is also one important aspect you can remember. The brain is enclosed by a bone structure made up of bones. The structure which is made up of bones called brain box, and cranium, it avoids the external damages to the brain, or the damages may occur to the brain. So proper protection is provided to the brain by this brain box or the cranium, dear students. Further, we have the division of brain. Now brain, as I said, is an important and integral part of the nervous system of frog. All right, so it is divided into three important divisions. That is, the first part is the forebrain, then secondly midbrain, and then followed by the midbrain there is the presence of hindbrain. All right, so these are the three divisions of brain we can find. Okay, let me repeat. Firstly, we have the forebrain, then followed by the forebrain, the midbrain, and then the hindbrain. So these are the parts of the brain of the frog, dear students. Furthermore, dear students, see, let us also understand what are the important parts associated with the first part of the brain, that is the forebrain. Okay, see, forebrain includes the structures called olfactory lobes. All right, here we are discussing the structural aspects, remember that, dear students. Okay, so the first here forebrain consists of olfactory lobes, which is one pair. All right, and cerebral hemisphere. Okay, paired cerebral hemispheres are a part of the brain. Okay, first we have olfactory lobes, then we have two cerebral hemisphere or pair of cerebral hemispheres are present, and then even unpaired. All right, it is not paired, so diencephalon, unpaired diencephalon is also present, so it is unpaired, dear students. Okay, so there are three parts which can be present in the forebrain of the frog, that is olfactory lobes is the first one. All right, so it is it is present in pair, and secondly cerebral hemisphere, which is also paired. All right, then thirdly we have diencephalon, this is also the part of forebrain which is unpaired. Okay, so these are the three structures which can be present with respect to the forebrain of the the brain, all right, of frog. Further, dear students, second part of the brain of frog is midbrain, right? So let us understand what are the important parts associated with the midbrain. So it has a pair of, all right, the midbrain is associated with the pair of optic lobes. All right, so optic lobes are the structures which are the part of the midbrain, dear students. Okay, then dear students, we have hind brain. All right, the next one is the hind brain. All right, the last part of the brain. So it consists of two important parts. The first part is called as cerebellum. All right, and the second part is called as medulla oblongata. All right, so these are the two parts of the hind brain. All right, and further medulla oblongata passes through the structure called foramen. All right, there is a structure called foramen magnum. From this structure, all right, the medulla oblongata continues as spinal cord. All right, spinal cord, dear students. Okay, so remember, the spinal cord is covered by the vertebral column. Okay, so that you need to remember. All right, let me now repeat. The hindbrain of the frog is made up of two important structures. The first one is the cerebellum, and the second one we call it as the medulla oblongata. And medulla oblongata is continued further as foramen magnum. All right, this foramen magnum joins the spinal cord, dear students. All right, and the spinal cord of the frog is covered by the bony structure called as the vertebral column. So these are the few important aspects with respect to the brain of a frog. All right, dear students, now let us understand what are the different types of sense organs which can be seen in frog. All right, sense organs of frog is the next topic. So the first we have here is organs of touch. All right, so these are sensory papillae. In touch, the structures called sensory papillae are present in frog. All right, then for taste, even we can find here taste buds. All right, to smell, all right, there are structures, sensory organs called nasal epithelium. All right, dear students, remember this as well. Okay, then for vision, all right, to observe the external environment and for catching its prey. All right, so they have eyes. All right, well developed eyes are present. And for finally for hearing, they have a structure called tympanum. All right, which we already know. Tympanum is also present, which helps in hearing, dear students. All right, so let me repeat. For touch, the sensory papillae helps. For taste buds are present for smelling, nasal epithelium is present for vision, eyes are present, and for, all right, the hearing we have the tympanum. And further, dear students, the eyes and internal organs, all right, are, see, firstly the eyes, as well as, sorry, not organs, internal ears, right? Internal ears, which are nothing but we are also referring this to as tympanum or internal ears, all right, which help in hearing. So the eyes and the internal ears or the tympanum are very well organized structures, all right, and they, all right, and in fact they are very well organized. All the other structures, dear students, all right, with respect to the, the sensory here, sensory organs, except the eyes and the tympanum, all right, all the other structures are just cellular aggregations, all right, they are just cellular aggregations, all right, which are in fact, present around the nerve endings, which can be seen located at the nerve endings, neurons, okay, neuron endings, we can find them, okay. So the eyes and the internal ears, that is the tympanum, you leave these two, they are very well organized, they are very well developed, all right. Apart from that, the other all structures which help in sense, all right, are just cellular aggregations, right. Bundle of cellular aggregations, the other sense organs are, and they are present around the nerve endings, dear students. Dear students, the eyes of the frog are spherical in structure, all right, they are spherical structures, they are, all right, and they are situated in the, all right, orbit of skull, all right, in the skull they are very well placed, they are placed in a, all right, structure called orbit, okay, they are very simple eyes, okay. And let me tell you that the, vision is very proper. And when we talk about the ear of frog, all right, so that is the tympanum, all right, it helps in hearing, the tympanum helps in hearing as well as in the balancing, all right, or equilibrium, all right, these two functions also it performs, all right, balancing, or you can also refer it to as equilibrium, all right. The major function is hearing. Apart from hearing, it also helps in balancing, that is I am talking about here tympanum, all right. And let me tell you that, all right, and further this completes with your neuroendocrine system. And further, now when we discuss just the skeletal system here, skeletal system of frog, all right, is generally, now we can say that here exoskeleton is completely absent, exoskeleton is cannot be seen at all right. So it is generally we not found with respect to frog, all right, it is absent. And the skeletal system, in the skeletal system of frogs, most the bones are very well organized, except the ribs are absent with respect to the frog's skeletal system. Remember these points, dear students, okay. The skeletal system only we can find here is endoskeleton, exoskeleton, the outer skeleton is absent in frog. And in the endoskeleton, the main important bones, the ribs, are absent. Dear students, next let us discuss about the reproductive system of frog. So here, firstly, let me tell you that the reproductive system is also very well organized, because they possess, the male and female reproductive organs in a very well organized manner, all right. So I can say that they are unisexual animals, we all know. So the male and the female sexes are separate. So both the reproductive system, that is the male as well as the female reproductive systems, are very well developed and also very well organized, okay. So dear students, let us move firstly with the male reproductive structure. Here, when we are considering the male reproductive structure or system, also we can refer it to as, okay. So here Firstly, it includes a pair of, alright, pair. We have a pair, okay, of yellowish ovoid shaped, alright, yellowish ovoid shaped testes, alright. So these testes are getting a point where they are attached to the upper part of kidneys, alright. We can find them attached to the upper part of kidneys, alright. So they are attached by a double fold of, alright, peritoneum. A structure called peritoneum, alright, helps in attachment of the testes to the upper part of the kidneys, alright. So kidneys are the primary sex organs which produces the sperms in the case of male frog. Okay, just let me show how they are attached, alright. See, for example, let us say, when we consider the structure, see, the testes will be, like this. Below we can find the adrenal gland, alright. This is the testis, alright. So below which we can find, this is the adrenal gland. On both these sides we have the adrenal glands, alright, right, dear students. And then above the kidneys we can find the fat bodies, alright. Note this point, dear students, alright. The fat bodies are present above the the testes are just situated on the upper part of the kidneys, alright. And see, we have this structure which is shown here is nothing but, this is adrenal gland. This is adrenal gland. Further, the adrenal gland leads to, see, this all both will lead to the structure as we have discussed before, cloaca, right. So this is cloaca. Cloaca is a common opening for both to pass the urine as well as for the passage of the the sperms, alright. And this structure, as you can find here, it is the rectum, dear students, alright. It's a very simple structure, alright. And here just below the, what we can say, the cloaca, the urinary bladder is also present, okay. Urinary bladder is also present. This is urinary bladder, okay. See, as you can find here, testes are located just above the upper part of the kidneys, alright. It is placed actually on the above of actually the adrenal glands, alright. Very much close to the adrenal glands the testes are present. Above the testes on both the sides we can find the structures called fat bodies, alright. So find, dear students, see, the pipe which we can find here is the urinogenital duct, which I have told, urinogenital duct, alright. Then we have the cloaca, and this cloacal opening or cloacal aperture is present, dear students, okay. So this is how the in fact the male reproductive structure looks like, alright. The testes are situated above the kidneys, first point. Second point, it is just near to the adrenal gland, alright. And below we can find the urinogenital duct, alright. I have already told you the kidneys as well as generally the kidneys will communicate with the urinogenital duct, alright. And the urinogenital duct which is present here will open into cloacal aperture, that is the part of the cloaca, alright, children. Now see, let me tell you a few important aspects, dear students, here. See, firstly, you note that there is a small chamber to pass the fecal matter, correct. That is what we call it to as, and as well as not only fecal matter, even not only the fecal matter, even the urine, as I said you, okay, to go with that sperms, alright. All this to the exterior, they open it through the cloaca, dear students. Cloaca is the common opening for passage of fecal matter, passage of urine, passage of sperms. Other than that, I have told you, the male reproductive structure will have the testes, alright. Then below, testes are located on the upper part of kidneys, just near the adrenal gland. Then through the urinogenital tract, the kidneys will lead to the cloaca. Cloacal aperture is there, and of course the sperms will also move through the cloaca. Are you getting my point? Other than the urine and fecal matter. So this is the male reproductive structure of frog, dear students. Dear students, let us also discuss about the female reproductive structure or female reproductive system of the frog. All right. So it's also very well developed, all right, because it has a pair of primary sex organs which produces the egg, all right, the ovaries, all right. They are also present near the kidneys, dear students, as we found that the testes were present near the kidneys, all right, and just on the upper part, all right. The similar manner ovaries are also present in the female frogs, all right, near the kidneys, all right. And let me tell you that these ovaries have, all right, many irregular structures, numerous structures called as follicles. All right, the ovaries have follicles. What are follicles here? Follicle means anything, the sac which is filled with fluid, right? All right. So in this sac which is filled with fluid, the eggs will develop, right, children? The eggs will develop. That is what we call it as follicles. Let me repeat. The female reproductive system of frog comprises of the primary sex organs called as ovaries. They are also present near the kidneys. All right. The ovaries are having follicles, the irregular structures called follicles. They are very numerous in number. So what are follicles? They are sac like structures filled with fluid where eggs develop. Okay, so remember this, dear students. And further, let me tell you, other than the ovaries, see, they also have oviduct. All right, so it is a pair, a pair of oviducts can be present, dear students. All right, these oviducts arise from the ovaries. They arise from ovaries. All right, so note this point. Okay, and further let me tell you, these oviducts will open, they open separately. Okay, there is a separate opening for them in the cloaca. All right, so let me show you now. All right, see, when we consider the female reproductive structure, all right, it looks as such. See, we have these structures, all right. So these are oviducts, all right. This is called the oviduct, all right. And further, the ovaries are present, all right. Just as I said, you see there are two kidneys here, all right. Right, these two kidneys now, they have the structures called ovaries. These are the ovaries, all right. So this is ovary, dear students. Just near the kidneys we can find, and inside the ovaries, the what we can say, the eggs will be produced, all right. Many eggs will be produced inside each ovary, and this is what we can say, the ureter. Ovary is continuing as ureter, and further it opens into, as I said you, the structure called cloaca, dear students. All right, of course, through the cloacal aperture and urinary bladder. This is urinary bladder which can be present. Okay, and this is this is urinary bladder, right? This below part of the cloaca, and this is cloacal aperture or cloacal opening. All right, let me tell you, the ovaries are connected to the oviducts. From the oviducts, the eggs will pass on. Okay, and many eggs will be produced inside the ovaries. All right, and further the oviducts are continued as ureter, as you can observe here. All right, then at last again we can find the cloaca. So this is also the similar structure, almost, when we compare that with male reproductive structure, dear students. Okay, and further let me tell you that a mature female can lay up to, all right, 2500 to 3000 ova at a time. It can lay, all right, at a time. How many eggs it can lay? right, 2500 to 3000 ova, which is a very high number, dear students. All right, and let me tell you, after in fact that where does fertilization occur? You know what is fertilization here? Firstly, let me tell you what is fertilization. The fertilization, see, now we have the sperm, for example, the male reproductive gamete, and then ova, the fusion, all the events which involve with the fusion of this female gamete called as the ova, all right, or egg, and the male gamete called as the sperm. All right, the fusion of this all the events which occur is called as fertilization. And where does this fertilization occur, whether outside the body or inside? Based on that, we have two types, external and internal fertilization, which we already know. So in cases of frogs, we can find that the fertilization, all right, occurs outside the body. All right, so it is external fertilization, dear students, external. All right, where does it occur? In the water. Fertilization is occurring in the water medium. All right, so the fusion of male and female gametes, the sperm and the egg or the ova, is occurring outside the female, or sorry, outside the body, female body rather. Okay, then let us discuss about development. When we talk about development, already we know that whether if they pass through the larval stages, they are called as indirect development. All right, if they don't have the larval stages, we call that as direct development. So frog has, all right, the larva, or getting my point, they have larval stages, so the direct development is not seen here, so only we can find is indirect development. All right, and the larva which is present here, dear students, is called tadpole larva. All right, this tadpole larva, when we speak, okay, so the larva of the frog, all right, it is the larva of frog. Because of this only they show indirect development, and it shows an important all right, process called as metamorphosis. So what do we mean by metamorphosis? See, the development of the larva into adult form. All right, so when it has to develop from the larva to adult form, it has to undergo so many developmental changes. All right, or so many developments. All right, so all this, the the larva, until it forms the adult, all the changes, developments which it undergoes is referred to as the metamorphosis. So the tadpole larva, the larva of the frog, shows that. Okay, so dear students, just let me remind you now that testes, when we consider in case of male reproductive structure, they are present on the upper part of kidneys. All right, testes are present on the upper part of kidneys, as well as the ovaries in case of all right, in case of the female reproductive system of frog, can be seen also near the all right, kidneys itself. All right, so remember, both will open into the cloaca. The testes, the sperms, as well as the ovaries, sperms will open through the cloaca, because testes having the sperms, when they are produced, they have to release out through the cloaca. Ovaries also release out the eggs through the cloaca only. All right, cloaca, through its opening called cloacal aperture, and later, after releasing the sperm and ova, the fusion, the fertilization will occur in the water. All right, remember this important aspect, dear students. Okay, so that is it for today's class. All right, so this completes the theoretical part of the chapter structural organization animals. Thank you very much.